Hey everybody, welcome back to the Reel Down. We'll give it a couple minutes here for everybody to log on. How you doing, Jimmy?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Good.
How'd the pre-fishing search go for the biggins?
Is that no big ones? I mean, I caught a couple that were, tournament fish, 16s, 17s, but nothing crazy. So, yeah, doing all right. But I think I know my area. The area I went to Sunday, I really liked, it was the right area. A lot of birds, a lot of life, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of bites there. So, yeah, only a second time I'd ever been to Neely Henry, but I've fished Coosa my whole life. Well, not my whole life, last 10 years. So I know what to expect.
Yeah, I got a little info on it in case I decide to come down there, but the guy told me to crank the whole time I was there, and I was like, it's just not what I'm good at. I lose faith in a crankbait real quick. But we'll see. I still don't know if I'm going. I can't decide. I'm all over the map for the next few weeks.
Some of it's tough. Just, Coosa River, you can win with both or you can win with a mix. So trying to decide, and it's only a 3-fish deal for our state championship. So you don't need to catch a bunch of fish. You just need 3 big ones. So, just holding on, being determined and holding on to that big bait or that certain, bigger fish bait, doing that, It's not going to be like the Hobie in a couple of weeks that, you'll have to maybe finesse
manage your fish.
Yeah, exactly.
Game plan, yeah.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
We got some people on, so here we go. Tonight we are talking KFL. If you don't know what it is, you've never heard of it, this is the time to ask your questions. Please like and share and ask any questions in the chat that you have. And Jimmy has gotten a bunch of questions from anglers all over the country, from a big cross section of people who've heard about it, people who haven't, people who are into it, and people who are not into it. So all those questions are going to be asked tonight, and I'm going to get the questions out of the chat. So if you have one, please ask. Again, share it tonight so we can spread the word of KFL. So here we go. Without further ado, first we have the founder. I guess you'd say the founder, Greg Nosar of KFL. And we have coaches, Jamie Broad and Eric Siddiqui. So welcome to the show, guys. Thank you for being on.
What's up, gentlemen?
How's everybody doing?
Hey, you were just on last week, Eric, with the Darnell second place tie with Drew. Are you mad at Drew? Like, I would be, a little, like
it happens.
That's my kind of luck. Like, here it is. Nope.
Yeah, and then you tied Jim Clark for big fish, and he doubled up on ties. I've never heard of that.
Yep.
Yeah, and they both win as well. That's crazy, but that dude had a rabbit's foot in his kayak or something. But yeah, thanks for being on, and here we go. So we'll start with Greg. All right. So for somebody who has never heard of KFL, what in the heck is it? Tell us all about it and how it came about.
All right. Well, KFL is Kayak Fishing League. It's exactly what it is. It's a fishing league, and so what we're doing is, look, when we first started this, it was an idea about getting together some teams in local markets, being able to take, the talents of the local market anglers representing their state, their city, and their area, and then having them compete in a normal form of American sports like we know it today. We have, NFL going on right now, which is, you have 2 separate conferences and divisions. Major League Baseball has 30 teams. NHL has 30 teams. Major League Soccer, NBA. I mean, look, everybody has a division or conference that they compete in. And, I've played sports all my life and, played baseball and, followed sports ever since I was, like 4 years old. So, we all know, NFL the way it is. You've got the NFC East, NFC South, West and North and all that stuff. So I thought to myself, well, there's going to be, these anglers, I mean, they acquaint with one another. They're partners and they travel together. They do a lot of things together. And that's what's so great about our sport. We have a real tight-knit community. So I thought to myself, well, why don't we just team these guys up since they travel together and they kind of hang around with one another, and it allows the camaraderie within an area. It allows these teams, so to speak, get together, showcase their waters, and then you have a home team and an away team and let them travel within a certain distance, and let's compete. Because one of the things about live event fishing, what's great about it is you get to compete one on one, or against each other on the same body of water. With KBBT, it was a COVID thing where we weren't able to do that, right? We were able to kind of just do this virtually, and we were pairing them one in your own waters and stuff like that. This is a combination of both. You restrict how many people can compete. You've got 4 versus 4, but you're doing it on the same body of water. And so, look, man, and when I play baseball, there's nothing like literally putting on your uniform, right, with your team, going to somebody else's house and beating the snot out of them. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And I mean, that's just, being a competitor, and fishing is a sport. So I thought, look, so let me ask you a question. Do you think fishing's a sport?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say so.
Yeah. I think everybody would say yes, right? In our sport of kayak fishing, can you keep score?
Yep.
More or less. Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, everybody has a score. Eric tied Drew Gregory by a score of 171, but he lost by big bass. So there's obviously a score. You know what I mean? And then, is there a time clock? Yeah, there is. You have a lines in, lines out. Well, we have a sport, we have a score, and we have a time clock. Well, guess what? Every sport of in American sports does that same thing. So, we can take that kind of concept, put it together, and then create this league, and then get these anglers together, and let's showcase the best versus the best on an away water or a home water, and let's just have fun doing it. I mean, it's also an opportunity to do something a little bit different too, because I'm a traditionalist. I love traditional fishing. I love getting all 150 guys on the same body of water, to duke it out and see whoever has the best day, wins. But and that's a good way of doing things. But one of the things is, when we take a huge body of water, we're getting ready to go down to the national championship. Okay, there's going to be almost 400 anglers down in Gunnersville. There's no spot that you're going to see that's going to be not fished on or fished on top of and everything else. But if you get 8 anglers on a huge body of water, let's see the talents really grow. You know what I mean? Let's see what the talents, because you open up so much more water with less anglers, and you're going to see the talents really take place between not only the individual angler but the team itself. And so, and again, it's not a traditional way of doing things. I understand. But I think it's going to be a fun way of doing things. And not only you get to compete as an angler, but you get to compete as a team. And it's something I'm used to. It's something that, I think anybody who's played sports or anybody who's followed sports would say, well, I understand that concept. Another thing, too, is it allows these anglers to do something unique from a marketing standpoint. Guys, I think kayak fishing is ready to take this next step. And this is the reason. This is the gamble that it's all about, that I'm willing to take. I think kayak fishing is incrementally getting to the point to where it's almost not there yet, but almost at the point to where it can compete with bass boats, that tournament style. And I think that the legitimacy of the sport, the way things are growing, the way COVID changed everything. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I try to go buy a Hobie Outback pretty much all year, and I can't find one around my area. I mean, it's really growing rapidly. People are not spending $80,000-$90,000 on the big bass boats anymore. They want to go out fishing with their kids. They want to go out and fishing with their with their family, and they and people just want to go out fishing just to get away from this whole COVID thing. So the discretionary income is transferring. I think, it's regional. But I think it's getting ready. It's transitioning from a big bass boat, bust out another 1,000. That's what boat stands for, into a kayak, because it's a lower barrier of entry. And so now we're seeing a lot of organic growth in the kayak industry, and that's what we're after. We're after new users, organic growth, and I think now is a good time, a perfect time, to take this sport and showcase it to what everybody understands. Everybody understands the uniqueness of American sports, and understands conferences, teams, numbers, uniforms, and players. Why not bring it to our sport? And you say, well, when's a good time to do it? I don't know. I don't, there is, is it next year? Is it 2 years? Is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? I don't know. But I think now's just as good as the time as any, because we're going to strike while the iron's hot from an industry standpoint. I think now's a great time to do something like this. And again, bring those who really don't understand the whole kayak sport fishing thing, but they understand what NFL football is. They understand what Major League Baseball is. They understand what, NBA is. Take that concept of a team, a city, and players and bring it into fishing. And so that's the whole point of the KFL, is to take that American sport concept and bring it into fishing. And we got some awesome fishermen in some high name cities and some big markets that they can market to, get sponsors, get their teams lined up. And to be honest with you guys, some of these anglers, from a marketing standpoint, should make enough money before even putting a line in the water. They're going to be positive in terms of being able to compete. So, which is a unique way of doing things, because basketball world's not like that. You know what I mean? So, it's a zero-sum game right now in the basketball world. But in the kayak world, I think it could work because it's not as high as a cost.
Okay. And so let's give a few of the specifics. Buy-in per team. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. 4,000 per team for buy-in.
That's right.
6 people on a team, but only 4 people fish per week. The games will be 6 hours long. There'll be a early game, an AM game.
7 hours.
7. Okay. So from 6 to 1, and then 1 or 12 to 7.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay. So 2 games a day. So you're only fishing either AM or PM. Those 4 people fish. Each team will have 3 away games and 3 home games, and then the playoffs. And what else? What are some more of the specifics there?
And I've got a lot of questions on all that too, so we can look at all that as we go.
There's 6 on each team, only 4 play. Yeah. So 4 will travel, or 6 could travel, or what have you. But yeah, that's just it. And they're not tournaments; they're called games.
Yeah. All right, Jimmy. Yeah, have at it, man.
All right. Well, you kind of covered it. I was going to ask you, like Dan said, I reached out to tons of people. And I wasn't like heavy on one thing or the other. I've reached out to people that don't tournament fish, tournament directors, everything. Guys big in this name, guys there, everywhere. I talked to Eric. One of the a buddy of mine he's business oriented. He said, sell me the KFL product. And I was going to ask you that question, but you've kind of covered most of that. But you kind of covered it in an aspect talking to like what people want to see. If you had an angler on the fence, how would you sell them KFL? Just simply saying because it's, built like a traditional American sports, or how would you approach that?
I'll tell an angler like this. It's a different way of thinking about it. So the key is to think about marketing first, then fishing. Okay. Fishing is the traditional side of fishing is, going out there and go after the prize money and then get as high as you can and then take as much prize money as you can on the way. And then, listen, we all do these tournaments, I think if we're honest enough, and Eric, you're dead smack in the middle of this. If we're honest enough, we take our expenses for the year and we take our costs that we take the travel, hotels, entry fees, everything else. And then let's say we have a pretty good year. And we finish maybe top 10 in a Hobie or top 10 in a bass tournament, what have you. The amount of money it costs to get to a tournament and all that stuff throughout the whole entire year, because look, we're not all Russ Steiner, okay? We can't win every tournament, you know what I mean? But, if an average angler, I think if we look at it, we'll basically break even, if not maybe plus or minus a couple $1,000, right? And so that, are we doing it? Are we doing it for the fun of it? Or some guys are trying to make a living out of it? Or some guys are really trying to make it ordeal out of it? I believe fishing. This is just Gregology, guys. This is not proven. This is not on paper. I believe anglers think about the whole business of fishing as 80% fishing, 20% marketing, right? I think it's 60% marketing, 40% fishing. Because I'll be honest with you guys, some of the best anglers that we have in our sport are not really marketed, not really marketable. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I believe we have to think about marketing first. Now, my gamble is this: sponsors, non-endemic sponsors especially, guys, when they think about sporting events, they think about this concept of teams. They think about players. They think about uniforms. They think about numbers. They think about wraps, and it's something that's visible and that they can actually see tangibly. When you go to a non-endemic sponsor and say, "Look, man, hey, I'm so and so. I'm a great fisherman. Hey, you want to sponsor me?" They're like, what kind of coverage are you getting? What are you doing? How am I going to get my return on investment and everything else? But if you go to somebody and say, "Hey, look, I'm on a team. I'm from the Washington Warhawks. Here's our logo. Here's what our uniform is going to look like. Here's our marketing package. Here's what your logo is going to go on. You're going to be put on broadcast. You're going to be put, this is what we're going to do for you from a media standpoint. This is what your return on investments is going to be in terms of this, and this. We're going to be in Nashville. We're going to be in Florida. We're going to be here. And again, this is some kind of the talk that non-endemic sponsors really understand, because they're already in that sports arena. They already advertise in that sports arena. So I would say to an angler, now is a great time to think about from the marketing aspect. And what's great about it now, and you don't have to do this individually. You can do this together. You can do this as a team. You can market your city. You can market the league. You can market fishing. You can market so many other things that non-endemic sponsors, even endemic sponsors, understand, right? And so, again, think about the fishing as the fun part of it. You have to perform when it comes to fishing, but really the fun really begins about the marketing aspect and taking that 60-40 concept and reversing your mentality.
Gotcha. And Eric, can you jump out and then follow a link back in? You're kind of crackling a little bit with the sound.
No problem.
All right. So Stephen Davis had a question. Are the games going to be live on YouTube or on the page? How are they going to be broadcast?
They're going to be broadcast all over. So it's going to be Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and actually we're actually looking at a thing called Sportscaster, and in other areas, and also the website and all that stuff we've got going on. So it's going to be multi-platformed sporting event.
And that's something that y'all have done in the KBB, because some people they don't do online events, so that hadn't been their deal. But y'all have been doing that on KBBT, where you've been focusing on the angler and doing on the waters and just hours and hours and a tremendous amount of content for those anglers, right?
That's right. Yeah, I mean, you can get any KBBT angler that's been on. I mean, Dan, yourself is included. I mean, when you see, yeah, I mean, you see the very get-go of KBBT. That's what we're building off this platform. We're using the platform that we've already built and just kind of enhancing it and bringing this new level into it. We're still going to be doing KBBT. I mean, I think that format's fantastic.
Actually, I'll jump to that question real quick, not to interrupt you. That was something that probably 80% of the people I messaged that messaged me back. It's like two questions. Was KBBT still going to be around, and were you going to continue to progress that platform? Because it was perfectly timed and it worked very well. I didn't participate because it's not my thing.
Yep.
But it, like everybody that I know, I have a bunch of friends that did it. I mean, including Dan, and everybody liked it. And then the second half of that question was, why make this move now and have a new baby when you could put your foot on the floor with what you have and make KBBT something even more than it already is? That was probably one of the most asked questions.
Well, think about it like this. KBBT is great, but it's limited. And let's just be honest with myself, right? You're limited to the field. You're limited to 64. You're limited to, just one or two tournaments or three tournaments a year, to whereas KFL is going to be a season. And so, KBBT, the national championship, is going to be in April. Well, then you're really not going to fish until the fall. And so what KFL allows, this little buffer in between the KBBT National Championship and the KBBT qualifier that are going to be done in the fall. So the KFL is this filler of a season of a season of, again, the league. And so it's going to go from June until the end of August, and then we jump right back into the KBBT qualifiers. So it's
kind of to keep the ball rolling
all the way through the year.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a question for Jamie. We don't want to leave him out. Well, here we have
don't leave that guy out.
Eric's coming on right now. Here we go. We got Eric too. So a question for you two. I know y'all have your teams already set up. how did you go about picking your teams? Because me, Eric, and Jamie, we're coaches, which just means we're like the leaders, we're the people at kind of the point of contact, the person who's putting together the team and all that good stuff. So how did y'all pick your teams?
Eric, go for it.
Well, I got contacted by a team from another city asking me to be on, and that's really like I didn't know anything about it before they contacted me and sort of told me about it. And then I had a couple other guys contact me and want to know if I want to put a super team together. So we started working on that. One of those guys ended up dropping off, and then I decided to start calling some of my buddies that I knew might be interested, and just kind of put a team.
Which Eric's buddies are much better fishermen than my buddies. So.
Yeah. These are like average, oh, my buddy down the road, he's got, a John Boat and some Shakespeare's. No,
we ain't scared.
Yeah. So when is well, Jamie, you go ahead first. How did you pick your team, man? Because I heard coaches doing all kind of different things. And if anybody is actually interested, and again, please ask your questions, like and share. We want to get all the answers out tonight that people want the information. But there's some people who are putting together a teams like doing a draft or doing all different kinds of things. So that's why I asked that question.
Yeah, with the one we've got going in Louisiana, we haven't officially finalized it yet because we're still waiting on some of the other tournament dates to come out to see who can actually compete, who can't. But the way we're looking at it is to get some good tournament anglers, but also get a couple good locals that know the water. Is you got to have the hammers. They might not be able to travel very much, but they're good sticks. I mean, Rodney Kennon's one of them.
Yeah.
So that's one big thing about this format that I do like is you can, strategize. The guys that can't travel but can really put it down when you're at home. I mean, that could be the game. If you suck that weekend, that could be great. So,
and whenever you're thinking about we already figured out the 3 home bodies of water that we want to have, but like Jamie's saying, we have there's a couple of people on my team that most people never heard of, but they win Angler of the Year every year in our state. They win state classics. They're people who just don't travel and they don't do a national trail thing a lot of times because they have a family. Yeah. But whenever you're putting together, I think for me, why I wanted to do it and why I got interested is because I love the strategy. There's a lot of things that this team format brings to it that other different kinds of fishing haven't been able to do before. Like we chose our 3 home bodies of water, and you have to have a body of water that's only 400 acres. That's the minimum. We chose one that's 440. It's not on any maps. I promise. Whoever fishes us, that it is not on Navionics. It's not going to be on your map. So you're going to have to come down here and fish it. So that's a strategy that we went for one of our lakes. So it definitely brings some different things into it. But Jimmy, go ahead, man. Rapid fire. Let's hit some questions.
All right. One issue that a lot of guys had was, we know you did, y'all have done videos and broadcasts a little bit on it, talking about it, but a lot of the more serious tournament anglers that talked to me were concerned about not being able to go click on something and read. And I know you're probably still finalizing your rules and ideas, but they couldn't find anything. Like somebody I thought would be all in on this was like, I would be all in if you could tell me something about it. And I was like, well, I can't do that. So I'm sure that's in the works.
Yeah. I mean, you can't. Yeah. I mean, look, you can't throw all the legalities out right now because things are still going, as they go. We're little by little putting out things as we go along. We still, guys, I mean, look, let's be honest. This is not starting until June of next year, right? And so I can't put something together until I know who's in it, right? And so, like going out and basically saying, well, I'll tell you this. We are going to cap the teams to either 20 or 24. We're going to get ready to put a hard stop on that. We've got around 16 teams right now. We're going to stop probably at 20. That way we can manage it perfectly. Not perfectly, but we can manage it over the first year. We can do 10 on each conference and then 4 or 5 team divisions. That's what I'm thinking about doing. I don't know if I want to go to 24 We're definitely not going to go to 32. It's just too much for 1 year. You know what I mean? We want to grow and grow slowly. But once we get that final 20 in, then everything's going to come out, right? Everything's going to come out in terms of, rules and sets and travel times. And we're working with a lot of different tourist groups and hotels and, just trying to get all that together. I will tell you this, behind the scenes, Jimmy, these teams have gotten marketing packages and sponsor packages and all sorts of stuff that they know what to do, either get a team together and or marketing, that I promise you, not one single tour has ever given these anglers. I mean, it's the key to everything they need. So the guys who need the information have the information. And again, everything's done kind of behind the scenes, and they've been talked to one-on-one. And there's a lot of reasons behind that, because I want to vet the people who are going to be in the league. Okay, I want to vet the people who are going to be part of this and who truly are in and who truly are out. And then you got some yahoos out there that's just trying to pull information just to pull information. You know what I mean? So yeah, a lot of stuff is happening behind the scenes. And then once that whole thing is done, then all the information will start coming out. So, okay. But the coaches, such as Eric and Jamie and Dan, all have the information they need to market to their teammates or their potential teammates, and Sam and all these other guys. I mean, they have enough information to get things done.
So if somebody, let's say somebody is somewhere and they're thinking about putting together a team, what would be the steps that they need to do to get all the information for their team?
Yeah, contact me directly. I want to talk to you first. Okay. As I said, we're vetting these people out. I mean, we're making sure that they're serious, who they, what kind of angler that they are. We really want to get an idea of, the who they're representing, the towns that they're representing, and just make sure that that's a good fit for us, as well as a good fit for them. And then, again, I'll talk to them one-on-one, and then we'll put them we have a group chat, and all the information's being spread through the private group chat. And then, I'll email them or send them information in writing that they need to get things done. And so, I've had many, many private messages and phone calls and stuff about it. If they need more information, so be it. And then also too, man, I mean, I'll follow up with you. If you're interested in doing it, at least once or twice a week, I'm following up with these guys. Are you serious about this? If not, I'm crossing you off my list. I got to move on. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's
so what we could say with, like I said, I had a lot of the people's attitude. They were, very interested, but they were kind of on the fence until they get the information. So for now, I guess the best way you could say it was if you're not on a team and, a team you were looking at's already got their team together, contact you directly.
Yeah. And another thing too, we don't overlap spots. Like, like for instance, Eric's in Nashville. We're not going to put another Nashville team together. I mean, there's no reason to, right? So we've got to make sure that fits geographically what we're trying to do.
Right.
Again, think of it like the NFL, man, you got to think of it kind of like that. It dilutes the marketing ability if we overlap teams in different spots. We try to give them geographical advantages.
So Andrew Graver here asks, will you make a minors division or like a AAA kind of division, maybe for lesser money, something like that?
Man, that's a great question. I mean, we're not there yet. I mean, that's a great goal. That would be cool because we are going to cap the league at 32 teams. And then after that, if people want to kind of, use the minor leagues, I will say this, we are going to be working with colleges and some high schools and, eventually, have like that farm league, you know what I mean? Kind of like baseball. I mean, Dan, you're a White Sox fan, you know what I mean?
Great year, by the way.
You're in the playoffs finally, but
they did get beat by Eric's Reds, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's a farm system and all that stuff. That's the ultimate goal. I mean, that would be awesome. Is to have some like a farm system like that. It'd be great.
Awesome.
And, so Stephen Davis asked, when does money have to be turned in by?
May 1st.
And so you're going to do a draft. So Eric has this mega team. I have a team. Jamie has a team. When is everybody going to know who's on what team?
December 15th.
There you go. So like a live draft show, right?
Yeah, draft show. Yep. Thursday night. Yep, it's going to be starting at around 7:00 p.m. and we're going to do a draft of all the teams, and then it's going to be just everybody's going to find out. It's like we're going to go from team to team to team. They're going to announce their teams, and man, it's making a big whole new thing. And trust me, some of these guys that are on these teams, I mean, Eric's team's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not even in this, and I'm worried about Eric's team.
I think Eric's team, at least one person needs to live in the city.
Got 4 of us. 4 out of 6.
So
I'm
Frankie,
but I travel a lot anyways.
Frankie Provolone here. He asks, Polyphone, old Slay Nation. He asks, will sponsors give the anglers or teams money? That's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's going to be teams. It's associated with the team. I mean, look, guys, here's the deal. Again, I go back on my experiences, right? When you play baseball, I mean, we raised $11,000 to go to Cooperstown when I was a kid. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's no different concept of getting local sponsors to help facilitate the teams. I mean, if 13-year-olds can raise $11,000 to go to Cooperstown, I mean, it's all about how hard you work and who you know, and developing those relationships and things of that nature. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to have to continue to pound doors, and I mean, worst comes to worst, you pay for it yourself. But I mean, that's $111 per angler per game. But that's not the goal. The goal is to get sponsors involved in your team to help you pay the bill, and then you're fishing for free, if not more. You know what I mean? So again, that's the ultimate goal, is to, again, look, guys. You know, we're not anywhere near the NFL or at Major League Baseball level, but I mean, you have the New York Yankees make a whole lot more money than the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. You know what I mean?
Right.
Market's going to do better. I mean, there's no reason, why a stacked team that has already sponsors, that are associated with that angler cannot bring on a team sponsor or sponsors to that team. Again, and the ROI is they're going to be able to see something, literally something that, I mean, honestly, a lot of the other tours just don't do. They don't broadcast their events. I mean, they'll take a picture here and there, and they might be having a picture in a magazine and so on and so forth. But this is live fishing, MLF style, or FLW style. I mean, they're going to see this live. They're going to be able to see their logos live. They're going to be able to see the social media aspect live. And these anglers have followers, and their followers have followers, and it's an exponential social media, extravaganza, so to speak. So it's something new, it's something innovative, but again, it's a different way to market. You got to think of it like that. It's a more integrated way of marketing the sport. And look, I said this before, Gerald Swindle, I hope Gerald's not watching this, but Gerald Swindle is I think he's a good fisherman. I don't think he's the greatest fisherman in the world, but he's a good fisherman. But he's one of the greatest pitch guys in the world. He can sell a Toyota truck like nobody's business. But how many tournaments have Gerald Swindle won here lately? You know what I mean?
He's never won a tournament.
Well, there you go.
0. He's never won he's won Angler of the Year twice. He's never won a tournament.
Well,
he's gotten second like 12, 15 times, but he's never won a tournament.
Well, there you go. But I mean, I would say, dollar for dollar, he's probably one of the most marketed fishermen that there is. You know what I mean? And it's all about that, man. It's remember I told you the 60-40 rule, and you do have to perform. I think I think performance is a part of it, but it's about how you go about and develop those partnerships and relationships.
Kind of going off what Todd's saying here. What's the payout look like?
So the payout right now is okay. So the way it's going to work. This is without any sponsors. Okay. It's going to be about $720 for the winner of each game. It's winner take all and again, it's up to the teams who decide how they want to pay out. And right now the pot, we also take out some money for the pot for the playoffs. And there's about $23,000 or so dollars for the pot. And that's going to be divvied up between, the first and second place winner. So, basically it's going to be like $18,000 for the winning team. And my goal as the league is to, triple that as much as I can. And then also as a league, it's profit sharing, or, it's going to be distributed to all the teams. So whatever the league makes, it's going to be divvied up between all the teams. And, and again, we got to do something to do our part to make sure that their sponsors that are attributed to the league itself. It's not only trying to get team sponsors, we're trying to get league sponsors, and I'm trying to up that pot. So make that pot as big as it can be for the teams that are going to be competing for it, and then whatever's left over, it's going to be given back to the teams. So,
okay, well, that was going to cover my next question: was how would league sponsors benefit the anglers? That's another question. Guys are they're kind of on the fence about how the payout works with just the entry fees and the work they have to put in and everything like that. But another big question was, does a league sponsor immediately make our payouts better? And then what could it be all the way down to per event or just for the ending?
I believe you need to work for it, man. I think I think you have to work towards something, and I think the winners should be able to get that pot. We might sweeten it a little bit, depending if the teams have to travel a lot more than what we thought it was. But I think, honestly, guys, I think I'm not about socialism. I'm about competitivism, and I believe you need to go work for it. You know what I mean? So I think we can sweeten that pot. Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. So, I had other questions, but you kind of covered it and all of that. So just to recap on that, there's going to be marketing packages available and stuff like that, but it's up to the teams to come up with their sponsors to cover their entry fees, and whether it's coming out of their pocket or, Bob's Hardware stores paying your way. So that was, most of the questions are money based. I mean, obviously people want to know what their money gets them. A lot of guys that messaged me were like, I see what it's going to cost. And one, it was $666 an angler, which is kind of sketchy, but I need to up that $1 or something.
Yeah, I might have to go to like 40, 50 or something like that.
There you go. But,
so what fees are you keeping? Are you keeping any money?
No.
Okay.
We don't keep fees. I mean, you have KBBT. Listen, KBBT in itself, we actually we're over 100%. We're like 103% because we cover a lot of the fees. You say, what's in it for me? Well, I mean, it's a gamble on the future. It's a gamble on, further bettering the business. And the business from our aspect will be coming from sponsors and stuff like that. But we don't take a single dime from the anglers.
I want to be on Team Eric Siddiqui. Nice.
I want to be on Team Eric Siddiqui.
Yeah, maybe. I got a team, and I want to be on Eric's
alternate.
Wait till they find out the rest of the team.
I don't know how I ended up coach. I had everybody contacting me wanting to run things, and then somehow I ended up being the coach of a team. So, but it's all right. I've always been better at helping other people out than myself. So I think it'll be fun to try to pull together some good sponsors, and I think there's a lot of opportunity with this. So it should be fun.
Awesome. And Mike Morcone asks, what type of travel are we talking about? Are there teams around the country? How does that work?
Yeah, so I mean, we're trying to limit travel to 6 hours, for the event. I mean, we're not trying to travel halfway across the country for these, divisional games and stuff like that. We're trying to keep it at a minimum, so that way you can get in on a Friday night and then fish Saturday and then go home Sunday. So we're not trying to make it so to where it's gonna kill you in terms of that travel time. Now, when it comes down to the playoffs, it's a whole different story. I mean, there's an advantage of having home field advantage, right? Like, NFL, you have home field advantage and stuff like that. So if you don't want to travel, then win.
And Andrew Graver asks, are you going to try to sell ad time for your stream?
And that's actually going to go into the next question I had was, how can you, if an angler was to come to you about the marketing, how can you guarantee me that what your plan is to market us as a team is better than any options that we already have that already are, like a proven, whether it's a trail or just whatever they've already got going on? What would you say? Like they just said, would you be like, well, we're selling ad time, focused on your event, we're going to do just go kind of over what your marketing scheme of that would be for the media. How will people, we know that they're going to see them on the stream, but just sweeten that up the best you can.
That's a fair question, and that's a great question. I think we've already proven that with KBBT. We're going to use that exact same platform. I don't think there's any other platform, guys, right now that has marketed the angler more so than us. And I'll stand on that hill. We have done about just as good a job as anybody taking that angler and make it angler centric first. There's no doubt. I mean, I've traveled across the country, personally to showcase every angler I can. We've done everything we can. In fact, we're going to ratchet that up even more so with the KFL. And, with, again, being able to profile, we're going to keep angler stats. I've already got a football card company that's going to do like these.
I was just about to say player cards.
That's all crap, man. I mean, it's going to be funny. But I mean, and then again, each team is going to be responsible for their own websites and selling their own apparel and all that stuff. I mean, and all that's going to be hyperlinked into the league. And so, yeah, I mean, because look, here's the deal: without players, you don't have a league, right? I mean, the league has to be player or angler centric. That's the whole thing. You got to be able to, showcase and look. The NFL is famous because of their players, right? I mean, I don't watch the NFL to watch Roger Goodell, for God's sake. I watch the NFL to, used to watch the NFL to look at my team, my players, and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be marketed the same as any other league out there. I mean, it has to be back to the angler. And, yeah, we will be selling ads. We're going to be running commercials and all that stuff. I mean, we have podcasts. We're going to do pre-game and post-game shows. I mean, you're going to feel like a celebrity. You're going to feel like an absolute celebrity when it comes to this. And we want you – we've charged the teams to go out to their local communities, go out to a Bass Pro Shop, go out to a Cabela's or whatever, set up a tent, sign autographs, give out apparel. I mean, develop a fan base. Tell them to watch live. You're going to be fishing live on, the different platforms. Treat yourself like a legit professional. You know what I mean? I mean, like a celebrity. I mean, it's all about how you look at yourself and how you treat yourself. And so,
Bass Pro, I can't afford to go back tomorrow.
What was that, Eric?
I said I was a Bass Pro today. I can't afford to go back tomorrow.
And Eric, Todd asked for Eric and Jamie, what was a part of what got y'all interested? Like, y'all can obviously fish all kind of different tournaments. There's a lot of them out there. Why KFL? Why are y'all doing it?
Well, I started with, I was on board with the KBBT since the beginning, and I know Greg, he's doing what he thinks is the best way to help, kayak fishing. He wants to grow it, and I know that,
I was in the first one too. It's fun.
Yeah, and it's a good time. KBBT got tough with me when I started, traveling and with other tournaments and everything, but I still think it's great, and it's good. The way they do all their broadcasting and talking to the anglers and everything else. I think that's awesome, and I think that's one of the big things that the sport needs. So when he pitched this idea and everything, and I learned how it all worked, I thought it sounded pretty cool. I really think there's a lot of opportunity there, especially to get some of those sponsors outside of fishing that, we haven't really been able to nail down, that, kind of open it up to them once they, see what it's about and kind of bring that to them. I think that'll open it up for some bigger individual sponsorships, in the future. So that's kind of what got me excited about it.
Jamie?
I'm just trying to support all the local strip clubs here, so we gotta get their names out.
Dude, I hope somebody gets a
oh my God.
I need one of the sponsors on his jersey to be a strip club that's local.
Hustler or something.
That'd be great.
I think that
Louisiana pinchers, man.
Nabbers.
No, I've been competing with the KBBT since it started too, and I really like the format. Like all the people involved. I mean, Greg came down here and hung out with us for a couple of days, fished with us for a weekend. So
yeah, me too.
It's a good opportunity for the anglers to get.
Oop, I think we lost him for a second.
Currently already are. So going next year with COVID, we don't know what it's going to do. So,
right.
I mean, this way we can pick 3 home games, 3 pretty local games. So can't beat it. So why not give it a shot?
That's kind of like what I thought about it was some of the bigger events. And man, I'm fishing Hobie in a couple of weeks. I'm going to fish those. I'm not putting those down in any way, but it seems like you can maybe save up a little bit more money because you only have 3 home games that are going to be local. And then whenever you do travel, you're traveling with a group, so you always guaranteed to have a house or you can do Airbnb, whatever it's going to be. But somebody
And you
else
play your cards right, get your sponsor to pay for that too.
That's right.
I mean, our goal, honestly, I think for my team, our goal up front was just to pay for the $4,000 at as a minimum to start there, and then next year we want to be able to show that everybody's talking about ROI, return on investment, of what we can show the sponsors, and we want to, for my team, we want to under promise and over perform the first year and shoot for that $4,000 or a little bit more to cover expenses, and then next year see what we can do and see how we can help it grow. So that was kind of our goal. I know if you have a mega team like Eric, that who knows how much you're asking for.
Man, you might be able to take a loan out from his sponsors.
Yeah, man. Yeah. If you have any sponsors that you've got too many.
Yeah, my jersey don't fit anymore. Pass one down.
What are the guys on my team? Oh, go ahead, Eric.
The first team that contacted me actually told me that it would be everything would be covered already, expenses, the $4,000, everything. They already had the sponsors, in line to do that. So that sounded pretty good to me. So now, I think it's sky's the limit for any team, really. You just depends. It's all about who and you can pull those local sponsors or sponsors for that city. And you don't really know who might be able to pull some really great sponsors to take care of their teams.
Right.
We have a group chat for my team. Sent me a sponsor deal, the link to the website for Waffle House. He wants me a Waffle House sponsorship. Like every time we travel, we have breakfast every morning.
That sounds like Tin Cup, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
You're gonna see like a West Coast team follow Greg Blanchard and get a big beer sponsor in.
Oh yeah, Sierra Nevada, whatever it is.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That was a question.
If that was the only sponsor I got, I would be perfectly okay with that. I feel like done.
Any chance? Oh man, so I saw that out west. Listen, we are dying to get some teams out west. The only problem with that is this: we are working with a Northwest team, Idaho, Utah, Colorado. That whole Northwest area. If we were to get a team out west like California, it would be impossible to do because no one's going to travel out to California just to go for one team. We would have to get 4 teams, as a division, or 5 teams as a division out in California to make all that work. So, California is a huge state like Texas. So there would have to be multiple teams to have that work. And then from the playoffs, then it would be, it would be a travel ordeal. So that's the only concern I have about, because just from the geographical situation, we would love to have California. We would love to have the West Coast, but it would have to be just more than just one team. It'd have to be like 4 or 5 teams.
No. Jimmy?
All right. Well, moving on, the next, I kind of categorized what everybody's questions were. So the next big thing that was talked about the most was scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
First thing you could hit was, scheduling conflicts with, the big 3 of your other series. And my question, this is probably the only question I actually had part in. I kind of just took everybody else's on. How do you get around the conflict? And then even once you get around scheduling conflict, you've got guys that have these big teams put together, but maybe the guys on their teams are still, working their day jobs and only have so much leave. So how do you get around it and assure your teams still get to have their players? What's your thoughts on that, or your strategy?
So we kind of thought that out. So here's the deal. I've already contacted AJ. I've already contacted Steve Owens and then Chad Hoover. We're trying to get all the 2021 schedules together, and we will listen. We understand our place, guys. We understand where we belong. So we will be scheduling around the national events. Okay, I can't promise anything for local events. It is what it is. But the national big stuff, we're gonna schedule around it. So if the guys are chasing AOIs or whatever, it's not fair to the anglers who are part of the league to make a choice between a league game versus the actual AOI situation with Hobie or Bass or KBF. So we will work around that. It's going to extend out our season a little bit, but I think that's going to be a minor. Basically
Not really a setback, but just a
a little setback. Yeah, to extend it out more than just 10 weeks that we thought about. But again, it's gonna be better for everybody if we do that. And then in terms of guys that are not able to travel or what have you, I mean, you got to remember, there's only 3 weeks that they have to travel, right? There's 6 guys that are on the team, but they're allowed to have 2 other replacements of that they can switch in and out. So there's 6 guys on the team, but 2 alternatives or alternates that are going to be on that deal. So again, I think that's really 8 players that they can play with. If they can't make that work, then they just forfeit the game. It is what it is.
Right.
So,
it kind of becomes at that point, it's, you've got to, you're taking the risk with this. The angler has to take the risk as well. Like, do you put it in this basket or the other? Are you all in with KFL, or are you more focused on chasing AOI, or a 2-day tournament with a big payout?
Of course, and again, I mean, that's why we've contacted. I mean, I can tell you, Hobie and Bass don't quite have their schedules up, and so it was like, well, I want to see the schedule for KFL. I mean, all I can tell you is going to start in June. It's going to end sometime in August, and I don't know the schedule until those schedules come out. Right.
That's one thing that a lot of the questions guys are asking me. I'm not at all affiliated. I was able to answer it with a simple, well, they're still figuring all this out. They just kind of got this going.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that it's kind of like, the schedule for the NFL doesn't come out until April 1st, right?
Right.
So, I mean, it's going to take some time for that schedule to come out. But again, I think people are eager just to have us release everything all at once, and just kind of like this explosion of information. We're strategically not doing that because, again, we have to put together the pieces. We have the concept down, right? We have, and trust me, we're thinking about how everything can go wrong, but we're also thinking about how everything can go right and what the benefits of everything going right would look like. And so what we're trying to do is let's go ahead and get teams together. That's the first thing that we have to do. And once that happens, we get the teams together. Now the marketing machine can take over. I've got these teams and these markets and these players, and I can market the crap out of these guys and facilitate. I have a marketing budget I want to try to reach, and it's my job over the winter and then early spring to go after it. And I've already paid for a booth at the Great Outdoor Show up in Harrisburg. We're going to go to ICAST. We're going to do everything we can to meet, greet, shake hands, kiss babies, and develop partnerships and relationships. And that's what business is all about. It has to be give and take for both sides. There has to be benefits on both sides. And what we can offer, and not only that, show how awesome the sport is from a team concept as well as an individual concept. So, yeah, I think it's going to be fun, man. I mean, it's a huge challenge. It's a huge undertaking. But man, I'm ready for it. You know what I mean? And I've got guys, like Eric and Dan and Jamie and Sam and all these other guys that are excited about it. And we're not in this just by ourselves. We're in this all together as a team because, again, rising tides lifts all boats, man. And look, if it fails, it's on me, man. I'll take the blame. I'll be the punching bag. But you know what? That's part of it. I don't think it's going to fail. I think it's going to be awesome.
What days will the games be on?
Saturdays.
There you
go. Alrighty. So that was about it with the scheduling because there's not really too much. It was the just conflict. People want to make sure they can fish everything they want to, every opportunity they have, and make sure they're not having to. And obviously, it's a hard task to do. I mean, you see it with just those 3 national trails. They still have dates that cross up. I mean, there's 52 weekends in a year.
Yep.
And it just happens, and it's going to happen. I mean, even with you doing what you're doing, something will happen. A storm will blow through. Something may get rescheduled on top of you, or vice versa.
Right.
You can't fix. It's not possible, at all. So
we're an outdoor sport. Things happen, guys.
Yeah. COVID may show up again and ruin everything all over again.
Oh, COVID 2020.
Oh no, man!
Well, God, I'm ready for this year to end.
Me too.
Not Heather, but Heath Barkley asked, "Will there be camera kayaks following the anglers?"
Yeah, absolutely, man. So we're going to ask. We are going to ask. The guys that are not fishing, the other 2 anglers that are not fishing, to be our camera guys. And if we can, great. If they can't, then so be it. But we've got. We're going to have meetings and we're going to work out the whole broadcasting thing. We also want fans to come out, man. We're working here in Stafford, our local Washington Warhawks. We're encouraging, kids and dads and moms come out in kayaks and watch us fish, you know what I mean, on a home game, you know what I mean? And you know, and take pictures and all that stuff, and you know, just be a part of it, be a fan of, you know, like those are fans and stands, right? You know, but instead they're on kayaks and they're just going to watch us fish. So, you know,
that would be something that I would be interested in, because I think this is a great opportunity to get some really good on the water shot from, like, you see, like the picture that Eric has behind him, like is what I would vision as what we need more of. And you just don't have people like that. I mean, not everybody's got a Scott Butcher following them around with a giant camera. You know, this gives you like my wife. My wife's really good at it, and I've talked with her. We've got her a boat now, and I was like, you know, it'd be great for you just to go. You don't like to fish, but you could come follow me fishing. This, you know, having these guys. I mean, you'll be stretched out on a body of water, but you know, you put in a little bit of leg work, running around, or you know, maybe cover. You could, like you said, if it's your other two guys, they're part of the team, so maybe your sponsor covers their travel expense too, and they're just your media guy.
Yep.
So that's definitely a cool aspect of it.
Yeah.
Add in a little money to bring more content. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'll sleep on the couch and I'll take pictures, you know.
Yep.
Deal. You're hired.
I got too much going on already, dude.
So Greg, yeah, sorry, Heath. Man, I saw Heather. My bad. Something in the comments. But Greg, what about like MVP, Angler of the Year, Angler of the Week? Are you doing stuff like that?
Yeah, we are. We're keeping stats. I mean, we're gonna keep stats just like that. We're gonna announce the MVP. We're gonna announce, you know, I mean, Rookie of the Year and all that stuff as we go along, and you know, stuff like that. So yeah, man, I mean, it's gonna be league formatted, you know, league awards. You know, after the season's over, we're gonna keep all those stats. And yeah, I mean, it's legit, and we're looking at a program, you know, with Turning X, and then we're also looking at another program that already keeps those stats right there. I mean, it's going to be pretty amazing, above and beyond even what Turning X is even looking at. So, you know, it's all ciphers through a spreadsheet, and we'll be able to throw up graphics and show different things, and it's going to be cool, man. You know, we're working on these angler bios and media decks and all that stuff for the guys, and you know, again, once we facilitate these teams, man, it's just going to be incredible. We're going to work on TV graphics, or you know, how we're going to do the graphics and stuff like that on online, and it's going to be professional production as much as we can, man. You know, I'm consulting with a couple other people right now in regards to all this, and we can't do it ourselves, man. It's going to have to be a team effort, but
Is that something that you'd be looking
on the phone to talk about KFL with somebody about something? So
is that something that you would be looking, like league sponsors? Would that be going more so to anglers only, or would you be using that to help with all of your marketing costs? Because all this costs money either way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously the league sponsors are going to help pay for some of that as well. Yeah, again, we have a marketing budget of what we think it's going to cost to facilitate all that. I mean, you know, we got to travel, or we have to do all these different things and trophies and all that stuff that we have to pay for, and websites, and you know, I mean, trust me, I've already spent out probably about almost $3,000 in programs, you know, for, you know, the KFL, and I trademarked it. That's $1,000. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, so yeah, I had a guy trying to steal the trademark already, and so you know, crazy stuff like that, man. And you know,
didn't waste no time.
No. So, yeah, he's a little.
And that's something a lot of people miss. Then you see it even down on the local level. Is no matter what kind of event or how it's run, there's a cost, because at some point when it gets so busy, you have to put a price on your time. You know, you can't do this for free forever. You know, if it's keeping you away from your family, you know, you can't. It all boils down to it's going to cost something. Whether you pay yourself $5, you know, you have to value. That's something that it's been kind of hard for me to figure out, because I'm doing like the Bass State level stuff, and you know, I talk with Steve Owens and stuff, and he's like, dude, this is a lot of work. You know, it's a lot of leg work. You're going to be the guy behind it. You need to make yourself, you know, you're worth something. You know, people have to understand that. And I see it too many times where a lot of the anglers are like, well, he paid himself, so that's not 100% payout. But yeah, but if I didn't do this, you wouldn't have this.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, there's cost involved. You know, this is not a 501c3 charity. I mean, there is, you know, there's obviously going to have to be a payout somewhere, somehow. You know, right now we're just, look, I believe businesses take about 3 years excuse me, for things to really start going. And look, the NFL makes a freaking lot of money. Roger Goodell makes $20 million a year for a reason. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, I mean, obviously, again, I'm not trying to compare ourselves to the NFL, but these players get paid a lot of money. There's a lot of money that's cycled through in and out. All you know what the NFL is? The NFL is a content marketing machine.
Yeah.
Okay? It provides content. It sells marketing. Major League Baseball, it provides content. It sells marketing. Well, guess what fishing is, guys? It's content to outdoorsmen who watch the product. And guess what we're trying to do? Sell marketing.
If it wasn't, there would be no reason for stuff stickered all over your boat, your kayak, your truck.
That's it. That's it. And look, I'm not all business, guys. Look, I love to catch fish. I'm a fisherman first, and then, then a business guy. I've been in business for over 25, 30 years now. I mean, I live in Washington, D.C. I've rubbed elbows with some of the best businessmen and politicians in the country. It makes you puke sometimes, but, there's a game to play. But at the end of the day, guys, take this to a next level. And that's what we're trying to do. And I've talked to many of the heavy hitters in this sport, and we've all had the same we're all on the same page here. This sport is ready to go to another level. It's ready to go, to a level, I think, where we can take it a lot more serious and get it up to at least compatible with the boats like MLFs and FLWs and stuff like that. One of the things about that, guys, though, I want to be careful about doing is not to overpromise something and underdeliver, like Dan was talking about, right? Jimmy, look, let's be honest. Let's talk about from the very aspect of what we do. Guys, we're gambling, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what we're doing. It's legalized gambling, right? The bass boat guys, maybe 10% of them make a living doing what they're doing. But they all call themselves professionals. They all put their stickers on their chest. They all have stickers on their boats, and they're called professional anglers. But I don't know if you ever watch Bass Talk Live, with Mark Jeffries and all these guys. They have a great point. Mark Jeffries was very concerned, and still very concerned about the payouts for these bass boat guys. And it's a zero-sum game. And again, all they're doing is putting in $40,000. It costs $40,000 per year to play the MLF game or the FLW game. And, not to mention your boat and travel and all that other stuff. And it could be $150,000 by the time you get into it. How many of those guys break even?
Very few, for sure.
Not many.
Not many.
No.
But do they call themselves professional anglers?
Oh, of course.
Can they live off what they're making? Not really.
Like you said, maybe 10% if you sit and really think about it.
Off tournament winnings, right? You know where they make their money from?
Marketing.
Sponsors.
So let's act Jamie and Eric here. Get y'all back in. What's your team names? Start with that. Have y'all figured them out? I know Eric has.
Yeah, we're still working on ours here in Louisiana.
The Cajun babies or the
we got to keep it PC. That's the hard part.
That's it.
The Louisiana Rougarou.
That wouldn't be a bad one, actually.
Yeah.
Quick, trademark it.
Yeah, right.
Nashville Shine.
Yeah.
Nashville Shiners.
Right.
All right.
Nice. What's yours, Dan?
Shiners.
The Alabama Hammers. We got made fun of on KVN.
That was
I promise.
That video was great.
that freaking video was hilarious.
Yeah, if nobody's ever seen it, we have some dude here. I know he's around the country some. He's Slocum law firm. One of those like ambulance chaser guys, and he's got a Mike Slocum, the Alabama Hammer, and he's like, I'm here to get the big bucks. And he's like shooting deer, and his commercials are ridiculous. So that was part of it. Iron City, iron. Like we have the Vulcan that's holding up like an arrow, but it's all like steel and impulse. Like the local, we went with like a soccer kind of, more of a crest than like a regular animal.
Kind of like the Birmingham Legion or whatever.
Yeah, with the Birmingham Legion, they have like an anvil and a handle. So, it kind of all went together.
We're the Washington Warhawks, so it looks pretty good.
Sounds pretty badass.
Yep. Eric is the leader of the Nashville team.
Man, I can't wait to see all the names that roll out on that one.
December 15th, man.
So where's your where is y'all's home lake going to be, like Kentucky Lake?
We're still talking about that, but that's definitely one of the ones.
It's none of your damn business, man.
Don't be map studying already, Dan. Because there's a good chance I'll be in your division.
What's that?
There's a good chance that we'll be in your division.
Right.
Maybe. We're working that out.
Maybe, yeah.
Working it out.
Keep them north, and we'll be like below.
They might be west.
Send them Bama boys to Florida. That's what
It might be in Louisiana's group.
No. Super way more.
Yeah. So
we have some
I
hammers.
pissed them enough as it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, listen, guys. We've got about, as I said, we've got about 16 teams. We're probably going to cap it out at 20 this first year. But if you're interested in doing so, just give me a ring, man. If you're interested in doing it, we'll get you into the group chat. We've got the marketing information. You can edit the marketing information to your local marketers. Put your own team in together. We'll help you with logo design, whatever you need done. It's I know it's new. I know it's not traditional. I know it's something that is not something that fishing has ever done before, and that's why there's a lot of questions. But it's something that we're familiar with, and it's something, at the end of the day, guys, it's fishing. You know what I mean? The fishing's the easy part. The fun part is going to be getting a bunch of guys together, or girls, and traveling together, going on the road, getting on one body of water. Because you know what? KBBT's been hammered for not being able to say, oh, you're honey hole fishing and you're doing this and you're not fishing, the same body of water. All you're doing is going to honey hole after honey hole. Well, guess what? We're coming to your house. Okay? We're coming to your house, your lake, and we're going to put a whipping on you. Yeah, if you like it or not.
Yeah, brother.
You know what I mean? And so, and we're going to watch it. Everybody watch it. And everybody's going to be able to see Nashville. And you should see some of these names coming out of Nashville.
And Chattanooga, too.
Oh, and Chattanooga. Absolutely. And so I will tell you this. Down at the 10 Invitational, we are almost close to looking at this deal to where we're going to have Nashville as a preseason game in February taking on the Florida team. And I will say this. The Florida team has one guy in particular that you weren't going to want to see. And that's Conrad Benetti. He's on the Florida team. And Nashville, obviously, I would love to see some of these guys on this team take on Conrad Benetti. And let's see. Let's see on a neutral body of water in Florida who has what it takes, man.
I think I know where to put my money on that one.
I'll tell you what now. I love some Florida fishing.
Oh, I do too.
I've been to Okeechobee, Harris Chain. I mean, St. John's. I love all that, man. That'd be a hoot too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would be in the Florida division.
Let's quit the talking. Let's quit the the yapping, and let's see it actually happen. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
So somebody asked this question again. When will the teams be announced?
December 15th.
December.
Well, I mean, in terms of those are the teams, the individuals on the team. We're already sending out the teams, like the names and the cities and the logos and stuff like that. We're already announcing those. But the actual team names won't come out until December 15th.
And where can they find all this online?
Go to KFL on or Kayak Fishing League on Facebook. We are putting together the website now. It's going to be kflfishing.com. Right now it's just a skeleton, but that's going to be the website. You can also go to KBBT, where we share everything that the KFL does. Each team is going to have their own Facebook group. I know the Indianapolis Knights have a Facebook page. The Washington Warhawks have a Facebook page. And as we go along, these teams are going to have their own Facebook pages and stuff like that. So, but just keep in mind, we're doing everything we can on the KFL Kayak Fishing League Facebook page. And then there we'll have Instagram and all that stuff. So all the social media content will be covered, through Facebook, your typical social media means. So, yep.
Good deal.
Awesome, dude. Well, I've got one final question.
Uh-oh.
That was a big one.
Yep.
And it's one that's kind of speaks to me.
Sure.
Fight me, Dan. But do you think so? With money being the root of evil, as anybody would say, do you think taking kayak fishing to this level, getting big sponsor dollars, all this will take away the purity that everybody talks about with kayak fishing, why they come from a boat to a kayak, to dodge the hate and, you know, people getting sour about everything. I mean, it still happens in our sport, but as a whole, kayak fishing is, you know, everybody talks about the camaraderie, and, you know, we accept anybody and everybody until you run your mouth, basically. But, you know, do you think we lose that by doing this?
No, I don't. And the reason why I say is this, because this is for the hyper competitive person, you know, the guys that have done this for years. I mean, the guys that have, you know, and the girls that love the competition. And I love the kayak community just as much as everybody. And you still have that that kind of feeling with your local groups. I feel that more with the local groups than I do at the national level. You know, the national level is a little bit more hyper intense when it comes to that, because at the end of the day, look, when you go to a national level event, it's great to have the camaraderie, everything like that. I told somebody else, I told somebody this today. I'm going to the national championship here down in Gunnersville. Okay. I love the camaraderie, but I'm not going down there for camaraderie this time. I'm going down there to win $100,000 or whatever, you know, that prize money is. Okay. I'm not there to, you know, hang out with my buddies, drink a bunch of beer and have a good time on the lake. I'm there for keep my head down and fish the best I know how, and try to win as much money as I can. Okay. Now, after it's all said and done, yeah, so be it, man. You know, we'll go and hang out, all that stuff. But this is competition at its best. And again, the camaraderie and the purity of the sport, like you talk about, is with the team itself. That's why you go out and form a team, is being able to have the camaraderie and the purity of the sport, and being able to figure out and breaking down a lake and enjoying it as you know, as a team. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Here's the deal. I was talking to Conrad Benetti on my podcast.
Conrad Banana.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
On the podcast. And there's days like today, I'll get out in the water and all I want to do is chill, relax, and have a good time. Okay. But most times when I get on the water and I get in my kayak, I want to rip the soul out of a bass's throat. You know what I mean? I mean, it's me versus beast and me versus nature, and I want to beat the tar of that bass. You know what I mean? And try to figure them out. That is the competitor in me. Okay. So we can have both. We can have, you know, the purity of the sport and the nostalgia of the sport, so to speak, and you know, the whole experience of kayak fishing as it being, you know, the outdoorsman and watching bald eagles play and all that stuff. But I think majority of these anglers, like Eric Siddiqui, when he goes to an event, I don't think he's in there to go see bald eagles play. Okay, I think he's there to go freaking beat 149 other guys and take their money. Right now, I mean, I could be wrong, but that's the ultimate goal. That's why you go out and travel, you know, 1,500 and, you know, 1,700 miles, and you know, you're trying to win it, man. I don't know of any competitive kayak fisherman that just goes just to have a bunch of fun. I think that every competitive kayak angler goes out and freaking wants to beat the soul out of the bass and beat everybody that's there.
I'm one of the few. I'm competitive, but I will travel. Like, my plans before COVID hit was I was going to be at every one of these events with these guys this year, and I have no concern or care about, you know, I've got to go up there and cash a check. I don't. For me, it's travel, see the country, meet these guys that are, you know, like Eric, and like I had a chance to meet Eric at the Classic. You know, I've heard about Eric forever. We shared a booth. He's a cool guy. That's what it was for me. I mean, and maybe that develops, and as a person develops, then it becomes about, okay, I can do this. But I'm one of the few, I guess, that it's not about that for me. I want to travel. I want to see the world, hang out with people in every great body of water that God put on this country, you know? So.
No, I did that too this summer, man. I mean, it was much more than just the fishing. It was going out and meeting all those folks and doing exactly what you're talking about. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, when it comes to competition, I hit a different switch, man. I mean, maybe it's just me, but like when I played baseball, you know, when I went and traveled and all that stuff, man, it was a job, and that was to get the job done, and that was the win. And I mean, winning's not everything, but you know, I don't know why you would enter an event and not try to win. I mean, that's just not how I think, man. You know what I mean? Well, the experience is great, but man, I'm gonna put $200 into an event, $250 into an event. Damn it, I want to win. You know what I mean? So
It's just money for me. I don't.
no, I mean, everybody, yeah, it might not be for you. It's not for everybody, but
Yeah.
But again, this is for competitive people, man. This is again team sports. It's competitive, and that's just the way it is. I mean, that's just it's a competition league,
Well, here we go. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. We don't want to take up any more of your time.
It's Dan's bedtime, folks. We're sorry.
Hey, I wake up early. What can I say? I'm an old man. So Jamie, Eric, Greg, thank you for being on. Any parting words? Anything else you want to say before we go?
No, shoot, anytime, man.
I got
Yeah.
one more.
Here come the Raging Cajuns and the Nashville Shiners.
Yeah, right.
All right, the Caddo Killers, or
I don't know. The Raging Cajuns actually sounds pretty good. I like
the
that.
Red River Raiders.
I'll take royalties on that.
Oh, hey, Greg, I got some info when we came into this podcast. For $1,000, I can get you a spot on Gunnersville.
Jimmy caught a 23 up there.
Stay tuned afterwards for more details.
Somebody messaged Jimmy. He said it was just an area just teeming with giants.
You giants.
He's taking bids.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. We'll talk to y'all for too long. And if you have any questions about KFL, contact Greg.
Hey, Jimmy, thank you guys for the time, man. Love talking to you guys. You guys do a great job, and you keep up the great work.
Well, no, man, I'm glad we got to have y'all on and let you really break. Because, I mean, I learned a lot about it. And all the questions you had an answer for, which is great. Because there was just so much that was kind of something somebody said was there's just too much unknown. So now I feel like now there's not. So this will get this posted. I think it'll reach even more people. And now everybody knows who's the man to contact and what it's all going to be about.
And today, Paddle and Fin hit 200,000 podcast listens, not including YouTube, the YouTube different videos that we have and the live stream, but 200,000 just podcast plays in 2 years.
That's awesome. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, we did 100,000 and I think, what was it, 6 months?
Yeah.
It
took it like a year and a half to get 100,000, and the last 6 months it's been 100,000. So it's kind of
guys. Yep, it's gonna take off like no one else's business. And you know what? Next year you're gonna have a ton of content to cover. So
yeah, we're gonna have to start like another segment if that would be something hard to believe. We've only got like 8 segments right now. We can always make another room for some more.
Yeah. We need like a catfish show or like a crappie show. I'm surprised we haven't done that yet. But all right, guys. Well, thank you for being on, and we'll talk to y'all for a long.
I'll see you guys soon.
take care.
Well, there we go. All right, let's talk about these tournaments. It's there's a few last week. Not a lot of them were smaller. I guess towards the end of the year, people are getting ready for hunting season.
And one of them that you're going to talk about was a grind, from what I saw.
Oh yeah, for sure. First up, you had the KBF Southeast Region event on Lanier. Day one Saturday. Yeah, you had Joshua Bolts. Day one, he had 85 inches. Saturday Mill. Is his name Saturday? If so, that's awesome. Saturday Mill. He's not Tuesday Mill. He's Saturday Mill. I'm Friday Dan. But his 84 and a half. And then Jody Queen again, 82 and 3/4. Day two, yeah. Corey Dreyer with 86 and 3/4. Joshua Bolts dropped down second, and he went up a half an inch, so he even caught more. And then Charles Miser with third with 85 and 1/4. Then you had Oklahoma Kayak Anglers. They had a huge tournament on 10 killers, 72 anglers, biggest one of the week. Josh Barlow first, 85 and 3/4, and Nathan Hinthorn with 85 and a half, and Chris Metcalf with 84 and 1/4. Buckeye Kayak Fishing Trail on, can't say the name, Pi Mat Unga. PYMATUNING. Dude, I'm from Mississippi. Quit messing with me. Pi Mat Tuning. I have 3 degrees. Isn't that sad?
Don't tell everybody that. You're making it worse for yourself.
Yeah, my schools were suspect, though. But 29 anglers, Colton Hutchinson with 51 and 3/4, Jason Isaacs with 50 and 3/4, and Alex Miller with 50 and 1/4. And then the KBBT, they're having their bracket, got down to Elite 8, and that's Ross Pinkerton, Chris Delgado, Rolando Naden, Jeff Eisen, Mark Coates. Again, he won last time. New Canoe. Doc Acosta, Dwayne Taft, and Larry Anderson. They're Elite 8. Congrats to them. Then there was a Spro Frog tournament on Gunnersville, 42 anglers. Wish I could have been there. You were up there fishing.
I missed registration, but I know for a fact I had big fish, and I could have probably, if I couldn't have beat Randall, I could have got up there with him.
Yeah, Randall Wallace just joined the dugout team. Congratulations to him. He also won the Alabama Bass Nation, our tournament. Jimmy's tournament there. And he has to be one. I mean, he's one of the top frog anglers in the country. But Randall Wallace, congrats to him. Nice guy. Josh Counts, second with 86 inches. And Gene Jensen, the fluke master himself, 83 inches and third.
He had big fish in that one.
Did he?
Yeah, I think it was 21 and 1/4.
Oh, wow. So you inch and a half, huh?
Oh, yeah. When I messed with Randall. When I caught that fish, I sent it to him because he was in first. And he had been I watched the standings all day, and he had been just 1/4 inch upgrades each time. And I sent him that at 1:30 and was like, hey, buddy. he just, you're not in this, right? I was like, no, I missed registration, but you're lucky, Randall. I was going to take your crown. And that's for anybody that doesn't know, he repeated. He won the Spro Frog tournament on Gunnersville last year.
Oh, okay.
So that's his tournament now. So
Carolina Kayak Anglers had their Gate City Classic, 41 anglers. Dustin Matthews, 92 and 1/4. Ricky Rowland with 84 inches, and Keith McGee, 81 inches. Next up, Moyak on Stockton Lake, 57 anglers. Dorman Hughley, 89 inches. Lance Burris, that guy is having a crazy year. I mean, every week he's in the top 3 of a tournament. 86 and 1/4, and DJ Williams, 81 inches. And last but not least, SIAC, Southern Indiana Yak Anglers Club, had their championship. 14 championships. We always go down in numbers. 14 anglers, 5-fish tournament, but no one caught 5 fish. First plate, Matt Kiefer had 53 and 3/4 with 4 fish. Second, third, both had 3 fish. Brian Sparks with 45 inches, and Brant Sharp with 43 and 1/4. So congrats to all the winners. That's a tough tournament. But and thanks to our guests tonight, Jamie, Eric, and Greg. Good show, getting out some information. A little bit different than what we usually do, but just there was a lot of people didn't know what it was, hadn't heard about it, or whatever else. And obviously,
I was blown away by it. Was 2 answers. They were in and worried about money and scheduling, or I have no clue about it. Yeah. And I was like, well, this makes this show even make more sense. So
yeah, and there's some choices that he made to do it this way rather than, to put the information, have a fact sheet, kind of, he did it in a way that not a lot of people, but some people have taken issue with, or think it wasn't the right way to do it, or they weren't consulted on it, or some people just, they're not going to like it, or whatever. But Greg has done it a certain way, and he's, that's the way he's going to do it. But I'm signed up. I'm going to do it, and our team's going to do it, and hopefully it works, and hopefully it becomes something. First year, you can, you got to keep expectations low. So we'll see. Either way, it's going to be hard to beat that Shiners team. So, but we're going to give a shot. We have some. I'm telling you, whenever I put out my team, we have some. We actually do have some hammers. So, yeah, looking forward.
That's awesome, man.
It'll be fun.
We'll see how it goes.
That's right. All right. Well, as always, thanks for listening, and we'll see y'all again next week. Wear your PFDs.